that hat is off, and my NAACP hat is on. So, not partisan. So this afternoon's event will also be live streamed, and you will all be able to share it afterwards as well. And again, as you can see, we have a bunch of candidates up here. So please stay within the time frame that is given, which is 90 seconds per answer. There will be a sign for 30 seconds. And then once you hit your time, it will show up in red. So before we get started, I'd like to, one, thank Pastor Brian for letting us, or hosting us in his beautiful church here this afternoon. I'd like to invite him up, say a few words, and open us up in prayer.
Thank you so much, Marlon, and thank you all. Amen. I really do appreciate the NAACP giving us an opportunity once again to host a forum whereby the citizens of this great area, as well as the state, DMV, as well as us as people of faith, to come and to share together. We pray that the Lord will bless each and every one of us as we hear from the candidates. I'm so thankful for the NAACP for the wonderful job that they do in keeping us informed and helping, being a voice for everyone, especially those of color in this area, this state, and we ask and pray that the Lord will continue to bless each and every one. I'm so thankful to see so many candidates up here, great, and you have answered the call and decided to give the opportunity for you to come and to be a part. So thank you very much for your being here, and to give God the praise for each and every one of you. Amen. On behalf of my wife, the Chantilly Baptist Church family, we say welcome again, and I'd like to open with a word of prayer for this opportunity to share together. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this time, this opportunity to share together. As we ask and pray that as we prepare to cast our votes, Lord, shortly, just in a few days, we ask and pray that we will look upon all the things that are going on in this nation, in this country, in this state, in this county. We ask and pray that you will bless in a mighty way. Touch us, Lord, that we will be aware of your word, your will, and your way. That, Lord, we will do things, Lord, according to your will. We give you all the praise right now. We give you thanksgiving for all that are here today, especially the NAACP that work tirelessly and continue to work, Lord, for equity and, Lord, inclusion. We give you thanksgiving right now as we share together. We pray these prayers in the precious and holy name of Jesus, who is the Christ, and for his sake we pray. Amen. 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 God bless you.
All right, great. Thank you, Pastor. So to kick off the afternoon, my co-MC Edwin Spain will be on this side. As you see up here, we have broken up the candidates by what they are running for: school board, delegate, state senate, etc. Can you all hear Evelyn in this one?
You can read it. No.
Well, we should. Let's put it closer to your phone.
How about now? Oh, here we go. See, I just had to work a little magic. Thank you all again. This is an amazing group. Thank you from the community. Thank you all of the dedicated candidates, whether you be running for office or you are an incumbent. We are so grateful to have you today. Before we get started, though, there are a couple of either incumbent officers or people who were running that are unable to attend. So let me just read this list because they did want you to have their recognition that they were aware of the event, but due to outstanding commitments, they were not able to make it. So we have incumbent delegate District 10, Dan Helmer. He is on active duty right now. Incumbent Board of Supervisor for Sully District, Kathy Smith, has family involvement, but she did want you to know she has 3 initiatives that she is running on. Her platform is for affordable housing, clean energy, and transportation. House Delegate 7 candidate Paul Berry has family loss, so we send our condolences to him. Mount Vernon Story Zimmerman for school board, she has family illness. Mount Vernon Supervisor Stork, he has another activity that he had to be involved in today. Incumbent Delegate Watts for District 14 has a family commitment. Steve Descano, attorney, Commonwealth attorney, has prior commitments, and Paul Krizik is out of town due to family obligations. So with that, Marvin, would you please share the rest of the program?
Yeah, so we will kick it right off. We will start with the House of Delegates. So if you're a House of Delegate candidate, can you please raise your hand? All right, so what we're gonna do, we're going to go left to right. I'm also gonna try holding the mic so that you guys have to stop talking. So you see my arms start to shake, it's just been a long day. But the first question for our, this is for senators and delegates, excuse me. So the first question is, state senators and delegates serve in the Virginia General Assembly. At a recent town hall, President Lee is quoted saying there's no good reason why one should spend more time getting a driver's license renewed than they purchase a gun. Yet, despite the rise in unnecessary loss of life, we still continue to fail to pass sensible, bipartisan gun safety measures. So can you give your 90-second answer on what is a common sense gun safety measure you would look to enact?
Wonderful to see everybody. I am Delegate David Bulova. I represent currently the 37th District, which is the city of Fairfax, George Mason area. And I'm running in the new 11th District, so I've lost my Centerville precincts and now have Oakton. This is a fantastic issue, and it is one of the utmost importance in terms of public safety. And I was very proud while the Democrats were in charge of the House, the Democrats were in charge of the Senate to pass a number of really important reforms, such as universal background checks, as well as red flag laws. What we really need to do now is focus on the assault weapons ban, but we also need to make sure that we're getting at the systemic issues that are causing that violence in the first place. And so crime prevention programs and ensuring that our young people have a great opportunity for education and economic opportunities is the way that we're going to solve this problem in the long term. But anyway, it's great to be here and looking forward to lots of questions afterwards. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Irene Shin, and I represent the 86th District in the House of Delegates, which will soon be the 8th District. The 8th District encompasses Chantilly, Herndon, as well as a little bit of Fairfax. And I'm looking forward to continuing to represent our community in House of Delegates once I'm on the ballot this November. I was just at a really important community discussion about gun violence just yesterday, actually, with members of the NAACP, with Congressman Connolly. We talked a lot about how the prevalence of gun violence right now is actually at the forefront of our voters' minds and in our communities. When we're 162 days into the year, we've already faced 280 mass shootings in our country, and that is an unacceptable statistic. I think, as Delegate Bulova said, we've made a ton of progress in the House of Delegates and General Assembly here in Virginia in tightening gun safety laws, but there's more to be done. I just heard about someone who committed suicide in my district because they were checked into a medical institution, a hospital, and they released him. He went home, had a firearm, and he killed himself. And so there's clearly work still left to be done on the red flag laws and other ways to make sure that our communities are able to stay safe. Thanks, Marlon.
Hi, I'm Karen Keys-Gamar. I am running in HD7, which is parts of Oakton, parts of Herndon, and mostly Reston. Central to my platform is to ban assault weapons. I cannot believe that we are still discussing it when we know that those are not used for any legitimate purpose, such as hunting or anything of that nature. My simple principle is this: every person has the right to be free of gun violence and to feel safe in their homes, in community buildings, and malls, etc. I'm actually tired of hearing people say thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts. Here, I actually have a thought. How about we actually do something in Virginia and in this nation? And that means banning assault weapons. That means closing the loophole where you can buy at these gun shows and not have to comply with laws. And we need to do it not only at the state level, but at the local, not only at the national level, but at the state level, but at the national level as well. So I hope that you will join me, and I thank you.
Oh, you're doing, okay. All right, sorry about that. Stella Pekarski, running for State Senate District 36. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I am the school board member that represents the majority of this district. It is a newly redrawn district. 93 to 94% of it is new. Gun violence is #1 killer of our children. As a mother, as an educator, a school board member, there's actually nothing more important to me than ensuring the safety of our kids. Karen and I on the school board helped close a gun loop, as well as do an external audit of all of our buildings and procedures, because this is the #1 issue we hear about. So when it comes to the state level, as others have said, these common, sense laws to stop the assault weapons, put a ban on them, and look at the other ways that we can work to ensure that people who shouldn't have guns do not get them, and to also invest in mental health. Our kids need help that they are not getting right now. Thank you for giving.
Hi everyone, my name is Heidi Droshak. I'm running in the new SD 35. The 35th district makes up Springfield, Annandale, West Springfield, and pretty much everything in between Fairfax City and Alexandria. When we go out on the doors, this is primarily the issue we hear about. We hear from students who are scared to go to school. We hear from parents who are scared to send their kids to school. We hear from families that are uncomfortable in their community. And so as a legislator, this would be a priority for me. I think we have to be unapologetic on this issue and push for progress, because the families of our communities are expecting it. So everything from the assault rifle ban to safe storage laws to enforcing our red flag laws, many of the laws that my colleagues have mentioned, I think are going to be a priority in the next General Assembly for us, so we can deliver for our families. Thanks.
I'm Shamali Halpin. I'm running for the 7th House District. This is the district that encompasses just north of Vernon, all of Ruston, and down into Oakton. I'm an Air Force veteran and a community organizer. And let me tell you, veterans are, especially progressive veterans like me, are the strongest voice on gun control. Our most gun-free zones in America are military bases. If you live on a base, your weapons that you have, that you own, cannot be in your house. They get put into the armory. You check them out when it's time. We know what it means to have common sense gun control, and absolutely, we need to get our weapons of war off our streets, but we also need to have safe storage in our homes, because we know guns are the #1 method for suicide, and we need to address this as well as mass shootings. We also need to get rid of ghost guns. This is another area that we need to take leadership on. So when it comes to gun safety, voices like mine are the strongest voices that you will find in our General Assembly.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Markelson. I am also a candidate running for the House of Delegates to represent District 7. I strongly support passing robust gun violence prevention measures, and because homicide is the leading cause of death of women in the workplace, I would like to start by passing more robust legislation to protect victims of domestic violence by closing the boyfriend loophole, and also ensuring that there is a mechanism in place to take guns away from domestic abusers who are not qualified to have them. And I'd also like to strengthen gun storage measures to protect children, and also make sure that we are protecting people with mental health issues and preventing suicides by gun. And part of that is going to be making sure that our red flag laws are actually enforced. There is federal money available to the state that the governor has not accepted, and so we need to make sure that we get that funding for the state to enforce those laws.
How you doing? My name is Eric Schmidt. I am running for the House District 15, which encompasses Burke, Springfield, Fairfax, and Fairfax Station. This is absolutely the most important issue that we have to deal with today. There are a couple of things that we need to do, obviously, banning assault weapons, gun safety, storage. There's a whole host of things we need to do. But this is really top of mind. Last time, or not the last time, but one of the most memorable times, unfortunately, that I was in the Baptist church, was one of my classmates in high school was killed by a stray bullet. And the funeral was in another church just down the road. These are the kind of things, my son sits over here, that I don't want him to have to deal with as he goes to school every time, worrying about him being inside a classroom, being inside a school, or going to a mall. These are the things that as parents, we should not even be having to talk about still today, how many years after Columbine. We have to do something, and this is the #1 issue that we need to solve in Virginia, but also in this country.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is James Thomas. I'm running for delegate in the 10th district. This is Centerville, Clifton, Fairfax Station, and Kings Park West. And I also want to say thank you very much for the NAACP for inviting us here. I'm a first-time candidate. This is an incredible opportunity to meet with everyone. And I think this is also, as everyone has mentioned, it's kind of repetitive, but this is an extremely important issue. As a father of a high schooler and a third grader, as a parent, as we've all discussed, this is a concern for us and our family. Gun violence. I agree with a lot of things that have been said here earlier. I think we need to look at this issue broadly. We can talk about individual gun legislation and things like that, but there is so much more that goes into this issue. I think we have to have an honest conversation about what those issues are, those systemic issues that were mentioned earlier. Mental health is at the core of that, ensuring that everyone, that young children, adults have access to that, ensuring that law enforcement officers have the resources, that we have the right professionals to deal with cases regarding mental health. So I think this is extremely important. Background checks, looking at schools, and thank you very much. Sorry.
Good afternoon, I'm Kathy Tran. I currently represent the 42nd House District and am running to represent the new 18th, which is Greater Springfield, parts of Morton, West, North, and Central Springfield. And on Wednesday, earlier this week, I was at the West Springfield High School graduation, and we were celebrating the dreams and hopes of all these students in the community. And then to come back home later on that afternoon and hear about what happened at Huguenot High School in Richmond, right? As a mom of 5, that was just devastating to know that our kids can walk across the stage, get their diploma, and then face the end of their lives due to gun violence. So I'm proud of the work that we have made in Virginia on this issue. We have to protect that progress, and there is so much more we could do. I carried Governor Northam's assault weapons ban in 2019. We need to address ghost guns. We need to make sure that we expand background checks, better storage laws. In addition to all of that, we have to be investing in the economic prosperity of all of our communities, particularly our most vulnerable ones. And we have to invest in systems like mental health and other things. So I look forward to continuing to partner with you on that work.
Hi, I'm George Parker, State Senator, and I'm finishing my 4th term in the General Assembly in the Senate here, and this is one of the most important issues, if not the most important that we have confronting us at this time. We have the assault weapons issues that's before us. We have the safe storage issues. We have some of the background checks that we have not been able to get closed in on, but we also have made some progress. I was a patron of the red flag law in the Senate, and I got that passed. We've done other types of things. We've put a lot of money into prevention services. That is critical because it's much better to prevent a shooting than it is to deal with what happened in Richmond this week. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lori Jane Cohen, and I'm running for the 15th District in the House of Delegates. I'm currently on the Fairfax County School Board, and I've also spent the last 5 years as a volunteer for Moms Demand Action. So I certainly think you're hearing some universal themes that this is important to all of us. But I think some of it is not just focusing on mental health. Other countries have mental health problems, and they don't have the shootings that we have. So we have to have short, long-term, medium-term goals. Long-term, I 100% agree, and I'm so proud to be up here with my colleagues who've worked really hard in our school system to make sure that we are focusing on kids' social emotional health, that we're getting them to make sure they have trusted relationships with parents. We know that's the #1 way to prevent all kinds of violence in our schools. We do have to make sure that we're doubling down on secure storage, banning assault weapons, all of the amazing things that you've heard. But also we have to hold people responsible when their weapons are used in crimes. So if you're a weapon stolen out of your vehicle and you don't report it as lost and it's used in a crime, you should be held responsible for that. If your child takes your unsecured gun and shoots a teacher, you're going to be held responsible for that.
State Senate. To be fair, I'll hold it 30. Not 30. But I like the new rules. My arm is killing me.
Hi everyone, this is Saddam Salim. I'm running for State Senate District 37 that stretches from Tysons, Oakton, Vienna, Maryfield, Elmore, to City of Falls Church and City of Fairfax, and then part of Falls Church as well. And, you know, as many of the folks up here have talked about banning assault weapons, we had the opportunity back in 2020. And you know, my opponent in this race was one of the vote that made sure that we never got that passed. So that's who I'm going up against. And yeah, it's going to be my priority to make sure that we pass the assault weapons ban, get weapons of war off the streets. On top of that, we need to look at permit process. We need to look at extended background checks. If I have to go as a federal employee or a federal contractor, a background check that takes 6 months, so does everybody else has to do the same thing when it comes to weapons of war. And on top of that, like when we're talking about funding mental health, we have to look at why are we funding that? How are we going to fund all that? So it's really, we have to look at the system of what works and what doesn't. There's about 13 states that have banned assault weapons, and that was constitutionally fine. So don't let them give you excuses when in theory it's possible.
I'm running for State Senate in District 36, and of course this is a big issue. Like James, I think we need to focus on mental health first. I think we need to address that. I think we need to obviously keep this out of the hands of small children. But I also worry that if we start trampling on the Second Amendment, what happens to the First Amendment? And also, what concerns me is that in cities like Chicago, New York, why is there so much violence going on? So, you know, I think that we need to address the mental health issue first and foremost. You know, build relationships, obviously. And like I said, we also can't trample on the Constitution. Because I worry if you start trampling on one amendment, what happens to the other amendments?
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Van Meter, and I'm running for the State Senate, District 33, which is Burke, over to parts of West Springfield, down through Dumfries on the eastern Prince William side. And the big issue is retired FBI agent, former police officer, and naval officer. I mean, the weapons portion of all this is something that I've been on the front lines of dealing with for several decades now. And I'll tell you that over the last 3 years, demonization and carrying part of the police forces has given us an increase of every single measurable crime statistic, to include homicide, the highest that we've seen in decades. And we have to fund and support and make our first responders the best in the nation to enforce all the laws that we're talking about. And people of color have been disproportionately affected by that. And also dealing with mental health and addiction issues, which is a top priority of mine. Because what all of these people have in common that are committing these crimes are mental health and addiction issues. We have to address that. And you need people to understand that, and I do. Thanks.
All right, I think we're done with the state delegates and senators for that one. Right, 90. All right, Evelyn will be asking the next question.
All right, thank you, Marlon. Thank you so much. Of course, I get the question when there is no candidate. We were going to have a question for the Commonwealth attorney, and there is no representation here. Am I correct today? All right. Just to give you a little explanation of what they do, the Commonwealth's attorney is the chief prosecutor for the county and sets policies that all county prosecutors must follow on things like charging eligibility for pretrial diversion programs and sentencing recommendations. My next group is the Marlon. But Marlon, before we get started, we've had some comments that when Marlon was handing the mic, we purposely held on to the mic because we know candidates like yeah. Okay, but Ms. Reese has been doing an excellent job showing, how much time is left. And if you would just keep an eye on her to know when you have 30 seconds and when your time is up, we are trusting that we can hand you the mic.
So, do we have any candidates from Nova Soil and Water Conservation? Oh, well, come right up. Say again? Oh, okay, no worries, no worries.
Max Fisher from House of Delegates 8 wanted to be here, but he had to fly out because that's his job.
Okay, thank you.
So please share.
You said Max Fisher?
Max Fisher from House of Delegates 8, he wanted to be here, but he had to fly out. He really wanted to meet you all and get to know all in person. But I just wanted to let you know before you...
Could everyone hear that?
No.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. There's no candidate for sheriff here, so we will go to clerk of the courts next. So the clerk handles administrative matters for the court and is the custodian of court records. The clerk also issues marriage licenses, probate wills, grant administration of estates, and appoints guardians. It's a very important position. I officiated my friend's wedding in February, and I had 10 days left to get it, and it takes 30 days, and the clerk of the court was able to pull it off for me. So, if elected, what programs would you want to implement to increase access to transparency, particularly in Black and underrepresented communities in Fairfax?
How's it going, everyone? Chantilly Baptist Church, Fairfax, NAACP. Thank you so much for hosting this. My name is Chris Falcon. I'm the Democratic candidate for Fairfax Clerk of the Court. I'm a lifelong Fairfax resident. I live in Annandale with my wife, Jackie, who's an FCPS educator, and our 3 kids. The first thing I want to do, and it's at the very top of my platform on my website, falconforfairfax.com, is put public case information for free on our website. Fairfax County is the only county in Virginia that does not make public case information free right now. Why is that a problem? It's a problem because if you got sued or you got charged, right now you can't use your cell phone to find out what's going on in your case. And there's a lot of people I've been meeting out on the campaign trail that really disproportionately affects. People that I've met in South County that live nowhere near the Fairfax City Courthouse. So day one, I want to start the ball rolling to get that public case information on the website so that we all have access to that. Also, I want to make our public records more freely accessible. So you can go on the website, request a copy of your deed or your marriage license, and pay with a credit card. Thank you all very much.
Greetings all.
you to the NAACP, not just the Fairfax chapter, but to the larger organization. My name is Gerarda, and I've worked about 10.5 years in the clerk's office down at the Fairfax Circuit Court. It is a big place. It serves all sorts of people. And it is our proud philosophy to serve all with excellence. Now, access to public records is already online through our Court Public Access Network, CPAN. One of the things we do is we park case indices on CPAN so that all people can inspect the public record, both the case and the lay record side. We invite you to come on down to the courthouse or check out CPAN. Color for clerk, for all.
So Senator Boysko is here. The first question for State Senate was about common sense reform, and if you had anything that you could say on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Senator Jennifer Boysko. I'm the current senator in the 33rd Senate District. The new district is the 38th Senate District, which is parts of, it's all of McLean, Great Falls, Herndon, Reston, Wolf Trap. I have been in office for 8 years and have been a leader on gun reform. This most recent year, I carried the very common sense bill that would have required everyone who owns a gun to lock their guns up if there are children in the home or if there are people who are prohibited from having a gun in the home. I will keep working for that, and I serve on the Judiciary Committee, so I get a vote on every single bill that comes through. Thank you for your time.
Yes. Thank you. I have a candidate that just arrived. We're looking at the sheriff. The sheriff, yes? Thank you for coming. Are there any other sheriffs in the room? Any other candidates? Okay. Well, my question for you is thank you for coming and joining us today. And my question is, how would you address community concerns? Oh, before I get started, we have our lovely timekeeper here, so she'll give you 30-second warning and 0. I'm going to hand you the mic. I trust that you will. No, you have 90 seconds. Yeah, but she'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left. All right. So, how would you address community concerns regarding the excessive use of force, transparency, and safety? I wish I didn't give you the microphone.
Now? So how would I address those concerns? First off, I'm Kevin Garcia, running for Fairfax County Sheriff. Hello, everyone. How would I address it? So I would deeply look into the root problems of like the issues that are going on in the community. You know, my prior experience, I'm a former DC police officer, so what we would do and the task that we would always do, we always focus on community policing and establishing good rapport with the community. And that's one of the things I intend to do as a sheriff, is introduce patrols back into the communities so we can establish those types of relationships with those underprivileged communities and all the way up to, you know, Herndon, McLean, and those communities as well. Am I good?
Thank you. So our next component is for school board, which is from here over. And over here. Go over here. So currently, as a FCPS grad myself, I went to South County High School. But as an FCPS grad, we still see that many of our Black and brown communities are disproportionately affected when it comes to discipline and graduation rates. So how would you ensure that all students are able to thrive in our schools?
Hi, my name is Mateo Dunn. I'm running to represent the Mount Vernon District on the Fairfax County School Board. And I think it's important that we start with a representation. We need to make sure that we're increasing the number of African American women and men who are recruited to serve as teachers and staff in our schools. Because if you can't see yourself in your educators, then how can you see a path forward in your future? You also need to make sure that our curriculum is adequately representing all the great accomplishments and achievements of African Americans throughout history. I stood up at Mount Vernon when the Virginia School Board came down and opposed Governor Youngkin's revisionist whitewashing of our history, and made sure that I stood up and advocated for minorities and labor unions and indigenous Americans whose accomplishments were being erased by Governor Youngkin. But more importantly, I think we need to work closely with our school resource officers and promote restorative justice and other programs so that we end the school to prison pipeline and make sure people have educational opportunities, or diversifying both for going to college or entering the workforce. Thank you for your time.
Here you go. All right, roll. We're good, right? Yep.
Hello everyone, my name is Seema Dixit. I'm running for school board position for Sully District. I'm a Democratic endorsed candidate and I have lived in Sully for 18 years. Both my kids have graduated from FCBS and one is still in FCBS actually, not both have graduated. So I do want to say that first of all, if anybody says there is no inequity or racism in our country, they're absolutely wrong. I'm an immigrant myself, and I've come to the country 22 years ago and gone through a lot of my own challenges as a colored woman. And all the children in Fairfax County are not treated equally. I mean, everybody's trying, but that is my goal, is to promote equity. All students should get excellent education despite of their race, their gender, their socioeconomic status, or disability. All students, period. And we have to do that. Just voting for equity is not enough. We have to go in the community and really walk the walk as a community leader and the school board leaders. I also want to foster excellence. This is basically, we have to get all the kids the right resources. Thank you so much. Wasn't enough time. Thank you.
Hi, first I'd like to thank everyone here for coming and listening to these important issues. My name is Tony Saab. I work for Providence School District. This is an important issue. I grew up in San Diego, California, a bad part, national city. I went to 2 Title I schools. I've seen the hazards of this. I actually got into government, great mentorships came pushed me out of here. And I know what's happened in the black community. I adopted a son. He was 7 years in the foster care program. Couldn't touch him. Put my hand out, shivered. We need mentorships out there. We need you guys to come out and help the community out. Be a mentor, be a foster parent. Take a stand, help these kids. My son graduated from Fairfax High School and is successful now. That is a tribute to what we can do. The board can't do it alone. It takes all of us. So join me, vote for me, join my resolution here, and we're gonna fix this community.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Welsh. I'm running for the Sully District, which is here at this church. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you about my grandmother, who was a first grade teacher during the late 50s. And she didn't need to teach about segregation, she lived it. The Little Rock Nine, if you remember, was a time in society where they were trying to desegregate schools, and there was National Guard and protests and so forth. And right after that, my grandmother, who had taught first grade, taught one little girl reading when no one else would. And she would say, everyone should learn how to read. Reading is your way out of equity, out of depression, to get back to school. And the little girl grew up to be a nurse, and she was a great part of the community. So it's about living it and doing, and not just being. Thanks.
Hello everyone, thank you for
for having us. My name is Kristen Ball, and I'm running for the Mason District School Board seat. I personally will fight for every single child. I don't consider children to be Republican or Democrat or anything. I think that all children have a right to succeed. And one of my goals would be to reinstitute vocational schools and trade schools to give kids some kind of skills that they can have to leave, because not everyone needs to go to college. Not everybody wants to go to college. So providing children with these skills and knowledge that they have to go out into the world and succeed and become productive adults who enjoy their lives and make a good living. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Alcoin. I am running for Fairfax County School Board at large. And this is actually one of the main reasons why I decided to come into this race. Back in October, when I saw the scores, the assessment scores of our young 4th graders and 8th graders, and the disproportionate decline of our children, minority children, I thought, you know, I've been in this county for almost 30 years off and on, and I do not get why we are in this position that we are in today. So in answer to the question that has been posed, I would really want to look at the resources, the curriculum, the route. We need to make sure all children across the county are getting equal access to all the tools and resources. And the main thing, I'm going to just add on to something that Kristen said, we need to start getting innovative with our education programs. The old way of doing business, you know, we got to make sure our children can read and write, that they want to go to trade schools, they want to go to apprenticeships. We need to start looking at those kinds of things, because I think that's what will keep our children in school and graduating. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Marcia St. John Cunny. Hola, buenas tardes. My name is Marcia. Soy Marcia St. John Cunny. I am running for the Franconia District School Board seat. And I think one of the most important points was already alluded to. We need to take a seat at the table. Currently, I think we need diversity in the school board, when we have 33% of our students being Latino and Hispanic. We need to have a voice at our table to begin with. Teachers have to represent the demographics of our schools. I have been working in schools for 24 years as a parent liaison, working with all of our students, all of our teachers, all of our communities as a family liaison and as a community school coordinator. Yes, we do need a revolution, and that revolution is to bring in the communities, to bring in partners, and to have authentic parent engagement. Also to respect and trust our teachers for the work they do every single day. Highlighted how important our schools are, how important our teachers are, and I'm there to be a voice to support every student.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon.
Mr. Moon.
I'm short. Marlon, would you come out? Marlon?
Oh wait, am I sorry, George?
Would you come out?
Yeah.
Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Standing. Take a look at what t-shirts he has. Always soccer team will be playing in state semi-final game. I've been watching our teams play from 9 o'clock until I got here. And watching these students play sports really excites me. Working with the students excites me. That is why I am trying to go back. After retiring from the school board in December 2019 with 20 years of service, to answer the question, I want to work more closely with the families, because opportunity and achievement gap start from home. We want to make sure that all our families, whether they are in the McLean, Great Falls, or Mount Vernon, have the same kind of opportunity and resources and information to help their children succeed.
And I was at Lewis High School earlier this week speaking to the students and giving this shirt. But when I played them in high school, they were not good at soccer.
Thank you, Marla. Okay, so we have a little shift in our schedule. Due to FOIA concerns, I have a couple of, we're going to do the Board of Supervisors. I'm going to do the chairman, the candidate who's running for chairman of the chairperson, excuse me, get this right, chairperson of the Board of Supervisors. And then I have a couple of incumbent supervisors who are here. So due to FOIA, I can only have 2 of them in the room at a time because we did not, and that's my fault. I should have known better to inform Karen. We should have posted it on the website. So with that concern, I have my group, my next group will be the Board of Supervisors, and then I'll also include the person running for chairperson. So my question is, what are your, as incumbents, what are your top 3 priorities to ensure that all voices in your district are heard and that their needs are met? So I'm looking at Board of Supervisor Alcorn.
Thank you very much. 3 top priorities. 3 things. 2 of them actually are accomplished. 1 is very much in process. In terms of some real movement on police reform. So at a meeting after the George Floyd murders, it was the NAACP that actually had a meeting where there was some discussion about the need to actually have a response force when 911 is called where somebody does not show up with a gun every time. So we now have a co-responder model. We've got 27 positions we've now authorized in the budget. So now there'll be mental health crisis intervention folks that can respond. We got a long way to go, but we started on that path. Something else, we're going to get equity explicitly in the Fairfax County Comprehensive Plan. Started it in Reston, couldn't do it in Reston alone, but we're going to do it countywide as a policy plan. And the third thing is affordable housing. We've made some progress, we've got a lot more to do, so it's time to do more. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Dalia Palchik. I am the Providence District Representative. So 90% of Tysons, Merrifield, Oakton. And prior to this position, I served on the Fairfax County School Board. Born in Argentina, raised here on free meals, English language learning, and a very proud TJ grad. And I think we're absolutely moving in the right direction with our schools and with TJ. I just want to say that there's a lot that we've been working on. Our parent liaisons, and I have to give a shout out to them, helped us ensure when I was on the school board with Gillian that we were paying them appropriately because they are a critical component of what our schools do. Expanding on our opportunity neighborhoods, and I think we need to have them in areas where opportunity neighborhood light is what I call them. I have areas in my district that maybe don't qualify for full-on support opportunity neighborhood program, but the schools can't do it alone, and we have to support them with mental health support, with early childhood, with youth workforce development, but absolutely, as was mentioned, and as needs to continue to happen, housing is at the top of the list. Our families cannot afford to live here. Their students cannot afford to live here. My mother-in-law sold her condo to help us buy a home so I could stay in my district. And I know people are living on pretty high incomes, and so many families are struggling much more every single day. So continuing to do that and get Marlon elected, because I don't know when he's running for office.
You're aware of the question that we're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. It's wonderful to be with you. My name is James Walkinshaw. I represent the Braddock District on the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors. And I think probably the biggest accomplishment I've had in my professional career is I actually hired Marlon in Conway's office. I've been living on that for a long time. But he's done an incredible job. And, you know, my top 3 priorities, I'll start with kind of on a high level. My priority for Fairfax County, and my grandfather grew up on a farm not far from here, so I'm someone who's very passionate about the future of the county and ensuring that it's a place where everybody can succeed and thrive. And I think our biggest challenge moving forward in this county is making sure we're a place where not just the CEO in the corner office of a tower in Tyson's can thrive, and we want her to thrive. We want that business to succeed and create jobs here. But we also have to be a place where the person who cleans that building and the person who built that building can succeed and thrive. And I'm proud of the work we've done on the Board of Supervisors to make that happen, passing the prevailing wage ordinance, passing project labor agreements, ensuring that everybody has the tools and the support that they need to succeed and thrive in Fairfax County. So that's my top priority, and I'm out of time. Thank you all so much for having me today.
If the rest of you would, the rest of the candidates would please stick around because we have another question for you, but we're going to continue with our candidates for the school board, for the Board of Supervisors. So those who are running for Board of Supervisors, can you please raise your hand? All right, so we'll start on this side.
Hi, I'm Denver Stephenger. I'm actually representing John Noeli, who's running for supervisor for Springfield District. He is a firefighter, 7 years, serving Fairfax County, is actually a National Guardsman and on drill duty this weekend. His top priorities are clear-cut, being a man of the community and serving and dealing with the issues of Fairfax County on a day-to-day basis. He wants to respond to what he sees, and that's lack of community services. He's going into people's homes and caring for them, caring for the health care that they do not have, treating the mental health issues that they aren't able to treat themselves. What Supervisor Alcorn addressed was major, right? Having a social worker hand in hand is huge. Lack of affordable housing. Springfield only has 3% of affordable housing in all Fairfax County, and we need to make sure we increase that immediately. And third, supporting our schools and making sure that our special ed students have the wraparound service they needed, because it is terribly understaffed in Fairfax County, and having the great sources and revenue and talent that we have, it's a great catastrophe. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Albert Vega. I'm also a candidate for Springfield District Supervisor, a little bit different type of candidate, electrical engineer, small business founder. My biggest priority is affordable housing. I'm on the edge of housing affordable. So much stems from not having adequate housing. We need to work hard on it because right now we're dead last in affordable housing and market rate and committed rentals. Come talk to me afterwards. I have like 5 things we need to do, and especially it starts with our current leadership, which means making it a priority. That's really important. My next up is public safety. We need to hold our police force accountable, which means get the right training in the hands of our police officers, crisis intervention training, more co-responders, and community building. Extremely important. And my last one is, there's so many things to actually go through, but I care a lot about the environment. So one thing that's important to me is that environment's top on people's minds, but nobody wants to spend money to it. I want to incorporate small environmental shifts into everything so that we start making small little changes, and then by the end of it, we always have a bigger movement, a bigger goal behind that. So please check out information, albertvega.com, and come see my TED Talk on affordable housing after this.
Thank you for bringing us to your house. And thank you all for being here at NAACP. Great job for inviting us all. My name is Puneet, and with your support, I'll be the next Drainingsville District Supervisor. My platform is very clear. It's about families. It's about making sure and ensuring that we have the quality of life that made us come to Fairfax County. I'm an immigrant. I'm a proud American. And 30% of Fairfax County is people like myself. So I bring diversity of ideas and opinions, and most importantly, accountability and transparency. That's the reason I'm running. And most importantly, we are down by 200 police officers. My goal is to work with the community leaders to ensure that we protect our families, give merit-based education to our kids, and most importantly, that the cost of living stays in control so we can enjoy this great county, this great state, and this great nation. Thank you. We need more families.
My name is David Fisk. I'm also running for the Drainingsville Supervisor seat. I have a PhD in physics. My background is NASA, scientific research. I worked in small business, the defense industry for a while. And I also have an extensive background now in nonpartisan, non-elected civic work. My top three priorities, first of all, is school overcrowding and working with the school board to revamp the system by which we go from residential approvals to student projections to capital improvement planning, and understanding how that process works, but also how it doesn't work so that we can do better and we don't have students in trailers. Second one is related to housing. I'm on board with affordable housing, but I also want to make sure that there's a continuum of housing that people want to live in as they move through life stages, from young to family age like me, where you need more space, and then perhaps down to downsizing again, and that we build what we need, but we also preserve the sections that are going to serve those other parts of the life process. And then third is public safety. I'm a little bit in between. I'm in favor of the co-responders, but also want to make sure that we're fully staffed.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Keith Elliott, and I'm a candidate for Sully District Board of Supervisors. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak. First and foremost, I am a man of faith. I'm a Christian, and I believe that God's created us for 2 ears. And I see a lot missing with us listening to everybody, rolling up our sleeves, putting our boots on, and working for each other, working with each other, and come up with ideas to solve the issues within the county. So first and foremost, I'm going to use my 2 ears to hear everybody and to discuss the problems and try to work out the issues together. The other thing is I think that affordable housing is a great issue. As a real estate person, I'm real estate management, associations and everything. Come talk to me about that. I would certainly love to talk to you about my plan for that. But the other thing is we got to erode the tax base. There's a great migration out of the county, and there's a lot of good folks that are leaving with good incomes, and we're losing income. We're losing revenue for the county. With that loss of revenue, we're crushing our real estate taxes, and when we crush our real estate taxes, housing goes up. So think about all those things, and that's kind of a couple of the things. There's a lot more to it, but certainly, as a politician, I'm not going to have enough time.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paul Barron, and I'm running for Board of Supervisor in the Franconia, otherwise known as the Lee District. I thank you, the NAACP, and for Chantilly Baptist for having us here today. My campaign slogan is bearing good news, and that's just not a slogan. That God guides me. Good news is the definition of the gospel, and that's how I conduct my business. I have been in business for 40 years as a CEO of a marketing company. I'll bring my expertise to Franconia to market it, to get people to know where it is. You know, people ask them, do you know where that Franconia district is? They may be standing in the middle of it. I've never heard of it. Well, we're going to change that because I have a whole marketing plan intended for Franconia to make it a very special place to come when you come to visit Washington, D.C., look at the Fairfax County and the Franconia. And I'd like to present it to you at my party, July 1st. Pick my flyer outside. Come to my party on July 1st in my house in Franconia. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jimmy Bierman. I'm running for Drainsville District Supervisor. I'm McLean born and bred, and I've lived in Drainsville almost my entire life. My big priorities, number one, great constituent services. That's what John Faust does. He's there to help everybody and listen to everybody in the Drainsville District, and I want to continue doing that. Number two big priority, smart development. What do I mean by that? That means when we're developing this county, we ask how are we mitigating the negative environmental effects of development, both on the front end and the back end? How are we making sure that our buildings are more energy efficient? How are we making sure that we're moving towards a green economy? At the same time, are we preserving affordable housing and creating more affordable housing units across the county? My joke about Fairfax County is we got the Yogi Berra problem. He used to say that restaurant's so busy, so crowded, nobody goes there anymore. Fairfax County, that county's so expensive, nobody can afford to live there anymore. And how are we also, as we develop, putting in the transportation and infrastructure that we need? And then my final big priority, I want to see us have a fully funded, great schools, and I'd like us to expand early childhood education across this county. We should have universal pre-K. Let's do it, folks. Thanks.
For Board of Supervisors. We good? Okay, we'll go to the person who is a candidate for chairperson of the Board of Supervisors. Oh, the same question, yes ma'am. Yes. Top three? Okay, yes. Okay, you're making me put my glasses on. Okay, so yes.
If you are elected, what are the top 3 priorities that your platform, that you would run on your platform?
Hello, everybody. I am Lisa Daling. My top priorities are, 1, to get the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors to start listening to the residents. Right now, we see a board that listens to the developers. And we got where we are today because we listened to the developers. We haven't looked at what the ramifications are going to be on our environment. You heard that term here. We haven't seen the implications for equity. We haven't seen how it would affect housing. We need not just this affordable housing, which is mostly rental. We need the people who work for Fairfax County to be able to afford to buy a home in Fairfax County. And right now they can't. This is all because it was all about developing. We put up Tyson's Corner, we put up Dressing, we put up so much business that we had forgotten the humanity of this county. I want to change that. I want to listen to the people. I want to give them what they need for their schools. I want to give them their safety, their police, their mental health, their social net, all of that.
Give her more time.
All right, before we jump into the next part, so school board here for Braddock District had a death in the family, so she had to fly to California. So we send her our condolences. Carl Frisk, Providence School Board District member, had a prior commitment. And Colin McDaniel, school board at large candidate. He is stuck at his son's soccer game, it looks like. So I'm going to go a little a cappella. We're going to go away from the 90 seconds, and for this fire round question, you have 10 seconds. But you really don't need all 10 seconds. It should be so as a member of a civic organization and being active in the community, it's extremely important for our elected officials to have been active in their community. So what have you done prior to your race in the community, whether it's an organization you're a part of, civic group, just being a parent, whatever it might be for you, that has prepared you for the role that you're running for. It can literally be 2 or 3 words, but we'll go with that. So 10 seconds? All right. You're only going to see red, you're not going to see yellow.
I've been an education advocate for the past 10 years, fighting for our schools and for our families.
Exactly.
I've been on PTA boards for 3 different schools, elementary school, middle school, and also high school in Sully District for past 10 years. And I also run a non-profit to support women going through domestic violence and help a lot of women in the community.
Well, going back to what I said, since 2015, I was foster parent. I actually adopted an at-risk child, and that's what we all need to do.
I go to every single school board meeting almost every single, for the last 2 years, and some of my speeches have gone viral, and they will continue to go.
I'm a former college professor. I spent 27 years teaching college. I'm a mother of a 7-year-old son, and I also have worked as a bench parent for his baseball team.
I'm a parent of 2 children who attend the Fairfax County Public Schools. We're very involved in all of their activities. I'm also a military spouse, and so I was working with military families and their children during our husband's tour. And I also have a business background, 35 years that can help the school board.
Okay, so I've been involved in all PTAs of my 3 children. I've been a board member of an international dance group where we brought this to the school systems and the kids got to do ballet folklorico. I have also started a STEAM program for kids in the summer that was free, and I'm very proud to be a member of that.
All right, well, I guess I have to hold the mic again.
union bargaining member and board member, Navy elementary grad, and more.
Co-founder of a nonprofit that did humanitarian aid disaster response, especially during the COVID pandemic, and we provided free desks for kids who needed to learn at home.
I've been active member of the Republican Party for over 22 years. I was first vice chair, and then I ran for lieutenant governor in 2020, and then... Okay, we're good.
30 years, Central Intelligence Agency, fighting the dragon and bureaucracy.
Thank you, Chairman of the Fairfax County Consumer Protection Commission, Soil and Water Conservation District Board, coached youth sports. My wife and I were active in our neighborhood National Night Out Against Crime program, and I still serve on the Board of Brain Injury Services.
My background is as a community organizer and I currently serve as an executive director for a nonprofit that fights for Black, Indigenous, people of color communities to build a more reflective democracy for all of us.
President of Fairfax County. I have had 25 years in coaching youth sports, soccer by the way, and SYA, and I lead student ministry and Bible studies for men.
I was a collection officer for the Election Bureau of Fairfax County. I also was invited to be on the committee that adjusts the sex abuse by priests by Corona World. And last but not least, I was on Obama's White House Business Council.
I'm an attorney who has worked to make sure that people, thank you. Make sure people have access to voting. I've been an election officer protecting that. I have been an advocate for domestic violence victims, pro bono. I have one more. Okay. An attorney representing children to make sure they have access to opportunity for.
This is one of the distinguishing factors of my candidacy. I've got deep ties here. I've taught in the public schools, been a PTA president, a Girl Scout leader, youth sports, in schools all over this district. I've worked on boards and nonprofits, been an education advocate my whole life.
And 6 kids.
Hi, I'm Heidi Drawshak. I started and ran a nonprofit that gave everyday people access to our legislature. I'm a small business owner. I am the proud mom of a new 6-week-old baby. And I sit on the executive committee of Big Money Out Virginia.
I am a grassroots community volunteer with Reston Strong, who has been working to improve access to mental health services in our corner of the county, and also to reduce housing insecurity. I also founded a STEM club at Forest Sexual Learning School in Metro African.
I'm a grassroots activist. The list is really long, but I'll keep it really quick. I've been working with NAACP. I've been working with, as a military spouse, for 22 years. I've been on board for Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions. I've also been regional director for South Asians for America and a $1 billion budget. Moms Demand Action!
All right, 25 years growing businesses and entrepreneur. Previously on the board of the American Chamber of Commerce in China. Coached my son's basketball team, lacrosse team, as well as building STEM schools throughout Fairfax County to teach kids the skills they need for the jobs of the future.
Okay. I'm a mom of 5 and we did the math right. We'll be in Fairfax County Public Schools for 24 years. But I'm also the past president of my PTA, currently really active. So membership chair and spirit fair chair and good parents. All right.
Again, James Thomas, 8 years in the United States Marine Corps, served over a decade and a half, both uniform, non-uniform service in the federal government. Family and I are active in our church, the Lamb Center, and I'm an active member of the local VFW Post.
I was chair of so many different things I can hardly remember them all. County level, at the school level, at the community level, at the homeowners association level, sports, you name it, I've done it. And to get rid of me, they had to get me sent to Richmond, and where I've done the same thing.
board member, Moms Demand Action, Food for Neighbors. How many more do I get to do? Bird Not a very good one though.
Hi everyone, I've been a community organizer, Providence co-chair, to SBC Finance chair. Most importantly, I've been the co-director for South Asians for America, where we organize and get voter turnouts out there, along with one of the founding members for AAPI and Black Caucus, so that we have better representation.
So, current high school history teacher to many awesome students, and also the daughter and wife and sister to many veterans.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Meter. After 32 years between the military and law enforcement, retired. Went back to school, became a therapist, and have devoted my life to preventing people from dying from drug and alcohol addiction.
20 years as a school board, 4 years in the planning commission, 15 years as a Sunday school teacher, for the last 3 years I've been teaching other TSL and Korean language and tourism and education design.
After graduating from law school at 25, I signed up to be an SYA basketball coach. As part of that, FPYC basketball coach. I'm the vice director on the James Madison University Board of Visitors. I serve on your Fairfax County Human Services Council.
Clerk. I've sat on the Fairfax Small Business Commission. I have sat on the executive board of the Virginia Women Attorneys Association. I've sat on the executive board of the Northern Virginia Women Attorneys Association. And I sit on the Silver Shield Anti-Fraud Task Force currently, the Fairfax Bar Association, the Fairfax Circuit Court Subcommittee, and Troop 6091 Girl Scout Troop BM.
Hi, I'm Palchik. I serve on the Children's Science Center board, and I've served in my community. I think my favorite volunteer opportunity has been starting a team for Girls on the Run, and the second highest poverty school in the county that's 5 years strong. And go girls, go Girls on the Run.
Jimmy Bierman, former chair of the Fairfax Police Civilian Review Panel, and on the panel for three and a half years, former chair of the Drainsville District Democratic Committee, former associate trustee of the Washington Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights and Urban Affairs, former member of the NAACP Criminal Justice Committee.
Hello, Kevin Garcia. I'm currently an assistant head coach at Herndon High School for the freshman football team, and I'm the head coach of the girls JV basketball team. Go Hornets! And I do immigration law and criminal matters here in Virginia.
Jennifer Boysko. I am the sole member of the General Assembly on the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority. I serve on the Unemployment Commission. I'm the chair of the Broadband Advisory Council. I serve on the Sexual Assault Services for Victims as well as for Substance Abuse. Pastoral.
Did I miss anyone?
We don't need an extra 10 seconds.
You owe time. Well, it's great to see that all our candidates are extremely involved in our community, which is exactly the type of people that we need running and elected in office. So thank you all. Now we'll pass it back to Evelyn.
Thank you, Marlon. And I've got to ask you to give these candidates a round of applause. Speed dating, like we don't know speed dating, but this was equivalent to a speed dating for the candidates. But this concludes our program for today. We are so happy, so overwhelmed with the number of community members that came out to hear what our candidates and incumbents have to say to you. Your vote, your voice is very important. And like Marlon mentioned, June 20th is the primaries. And so we ask each and every one of you to, if you haven't already voted, to please make sure your voice is heard by casting your vote. Yes? All right, and then before we end, we would like to take this opportunity to thank the hard work of Pastor Bryant. We'd like to thank the members of the Political Action Committee led by President the women in NAACP, Young Adult and Communications from NAACP. In addition to, I'd love to thank Rest and Strong. They provided us with the drinks. There are refreshments still in the back, so please don't leave unless you take a bag of chips or a bottle of water or soda. And then before I would be remiss not to give a big party thanks to the members of your congregation who helped us to set up this event. And then finally, everyone, we're going to have Chris Tandy, who has done a fabulous job. I haven't even seen the video, the latest movie on Netflix. It's going to be on YouTube, right? YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. So we have filmed this event today, and I know each of the candidates might want to put this on their website to showcase themselves. So we plan on having that out by Tuesday of next week, right, Chris? Yes. And so with that, there are brochures, information about the candidates on the tables out there. Thank you for your donations for the young ladies' supplies as well as school supplies. And with that, I think we have anything else to say?
Michelle, would you like to say any words before we close? Okay. Well, Madam President has no words, and oh, sorry.
I wanted to remind everyone that it's the Democratic primary that's on the 20th, and many of these candidates are not Democrat. So when you go to vote and you don't see their name, that's why it's the Democratic primary on the 20th. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Republicans had a caucus for theirs, correct? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I heard. Yes.
But they can still vote.
Get out of
Anyone.
Anyone? Yeah, Virginia, you did not register my party, so. Oh, we have Kyle. Kyle, all is
I'm going to catch my breath.
So we'll give you just
90 seconds. 90 seconds.
We'll give you 90 seconds just to talk about yourself.
I won't need 90. I'm not that interesting. Sorry I'm late. I was at an event out in Fauquier with my daughters. My name is Kyle McDaniel. I am one of your 3 Democratic candidates for our school board at large, countywide. I'm running for school board simply because I believe that as we emerge out of COVID, we have a fundamental choice of how we do that. It can be with fear and anger and cynicism, or it can be with courage and hope and optimism. And I'm firmly in that courageous, optimistic, hopeful world. I know what world I want my daughters to grow up in, and it's this world in Fairfax County where we embrace our public schools, we support our teachers, we recognize that not everybody in Fairfax County has the same level of access to opportunities, and we fundamentally believe that we have a job as a school board to affirmatively address those inequities. And that's the type of world I want my little girls to grow up in. I know that's the world that we as parents want our kids to grow up in. And that's why I decided to run for this job. So throughout the summer and into the fall, you're going to be seeing a lot from me and my colleagues, Hugh Youngwood and Ryan McElveen. We'll see you later. So you're going to be hearing a lot from us. And the most important thing to take away from this is all the Democrats running for this job, we're running as a team and we're running on one vision, and that vision is to make our public schools better for everybody. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you all for joining us this afternoon.
One more thing, I'm sorry, before Marlon excuses everyone, we have to give a great hand to Ms. Glassman.
Parents, please feel free to stick around and mingle with the attendees here and talk more about the platform. Thank you.